Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video review, we are going to continue on the last review of the Master of G series, which is the GW-9200 Rangeman. So the watch that you are looking at right now is an update of the Rangeman. This is the Master of G lens series GW-9400. Alright. So before we get on to today's review, a quick wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the Seiko 5 KX. Blue color. It's a very nice watch. Okay, so back to the Rangeman that we are looking at today. So this watch, as mentioned, is an update to the Rangeman, which we have reviewed in the previous video, which I have it on my hand right now. You can see that the design concept is very similar. So on the left hand side, this is the Rangeman, and on the right hand side, this is the Rangeman. So the Rangeman is an updated version of the Rangeman. So previously, I've mentioned that the Rangeman do not have a compass, so it's only an AB watch. If you would like the compass function, you have to attach a compass on the watch band here. But in the newer model, GW-9400, they actually included a compass function. So right now, the Rangeman is an ABC watch. So for those of you who are not familiar with this Master of G series, they are designed for more for a professional use. So even though the Rangeman is it's an ABC function, it gets a lot of inspiration from the previous generation of Rangeman. You can see very similar design. You have that three-line display, and you have the circle over here, and you also have a direct access button on the right hand side. So later on I'll talk a bit more on the buttons over here, what the functions are for. But as you can see, the design language is rather similar. However, I have to say that the Rangeman comes in a much larger size as compared to the Rangeman. Okay, so I'll talk a bit on the size also, and why it may not be suitable for people with smaller wrist sizes, myself included, and why people with smaller wrist sizes might prefer the older version instead. Okay, older version of the Rangeman instead. Okay, so let's go back to the Rangeman. So this watch is a model with triple sensor. So it comes with a triple sensor for altitude orientation, compass orientation, as well as atmospheric pressure measurements. So it comes with a dedicated button. In fact, on the right hand side, these three buttons all have a dedicated function for it, okay, which I will explain a bit on later on. So this watch, as with all G-Shocks, has shock resistance and 200 meters of water resistance, and it is powered by solar powered battery. You can see the solar cell over here at the peripheral of the dial, and it's a very nice watch, a very good watch for people such as your military service officers or mountaineers or even rescue officers. People with large buttons is also easier to operate when you're wearing gloves. Okay, let's run through some of the functions. Okay, so this watch, in the home screen, you can see a three-line display. Features the home time, the date of the week, the battery indicator, and also this circle over here acts as a second counter under normal circumstances, but it will show other functions as we move along. So on the top line here, you can see that, okay, this watch shows a barometric graph. Of course, you can also adjust it. You can change it to the day of the week as well. It's up to you to customize. So I should also say that this watch comes with a multi-band 6 function, meaning to say that it's able to receive an atomic time clock to ensure that you have accurate measurement of the time at all times. Okay, provided that the watch is able to receive the signal. So this watch is built for rigorous survival activities, if you will, with the ABC functions. The button here at the right hand side is direct access to the ABC function. So right now you see when I press this button on the right hand side, it goes to the compass mode. So you can actually cycle through a different mode, barometer and also altimeter. Okay, so let's talk about altimeter first. So G-Shock GW-9400 will measure the time, current time, as well as your altitude, and it will measure the altitude instantaneously. So whenever you have a change in altitude, it will measure. You can also start the time to measure the time elapsed. Compass. Okay, so like I mentioned previously, previously the Rangeman here do not have the compass. So right now for Rangeman, you actually have the compass function. So very, very useful. So this circle here you can see kicks into action. There's a 3 stripe here that will indicate the north direction, and the other side would be the north south, okay, east and west. Okay, so as you rotate, you can see the watch also gives you the bearing. Okay, so right now here where my pen is pointing at, which is the 12 o'clock position of the watch, indicates the north. Then over here the middle bar will indicate the time, and then the lowest bar here will indicate the bearing. All right, so that is for the compass function. Lastly, you have the barometer function, measures the air pressure right now as well as the temperature in degrees Celsius. You can change it to Fahrenheit if you wish, and you have the barometric time graph as well. Okay, so this is your one dedicated button access. Another function that I really love about this watch is the direct to stopwatch access. Okay, so this will come with the button on the lower right hand corner. So when you press this button, okay, you can see it straight away jumps into the stopwatch mode and you measure the time elapsed. So this is a very useful function. You don't have to cycle through to the stopwatch function to access this. Very, very useful function. And you can also see the current time as well in the stopwatch function, which again is very, very useful. You're able to track the current time as well as the time elapsed. So there's something that I really love about this watch. Okay, you have split timing as well. So you can see this circle graphic indicator continues moving while I actually split the time here. Okay, you can pause it, then you can reset. Okay, so I can choose to cycle through all the modes, or I can choose to hold the mode button to return to the home screen. Another useful function. So that's it for oh yeah, one more is the time record function. So you can press and hold the top right hand corner here until you hear a beep and you can see the record sign. Later on we can actually view the timing that we have saved. Okay, I'll do that right now. I'll cycle through the mode to the recall function, sorry, to the, okay, let me go back again. Okay, recall function, right? So I have actually record 1 which is set previously, and also record 2 which I set just now. So it captures the time, the date, as well as some other parameters such as my altitude, maximum and minimum, as well as my ascent and descent. So this is something that's a quite interesting function that you have here in the Rangeman. So this watch actually has a lot of modes, and also the functions, I wouldn't be able to go into much detail about it since this is a quick review. Okay, so but I'll still go through some of the main functions, and besides what we have went through so far, you also have the very important world time mode. So you can see as you cycle through, you can also view the home time in the middle screen. The world time you will be able to view at the bottom screen. Okay, so very useful function. You have, like I mentioned previously, the stopwatch mode, which you can access in the home time screen. You can also choose to access by cycling through the different modes. So you also have the countdown timer. This countdown timer is very useful. You can set it up to 24 hours, up to 24 hours, correct. Okay, so there's many functions that comes in this watch. You also have the alarm, hourly signal. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alarms. The 5th alarm here, this is a snooze alarm. Okay, and you have another very nice function that the previous Rangeman do not have. The Rangeman have the sunset and sunrise function. Okay, so you can see, okay, you can choose to see different dates as well. Okay, today is the 22nd. I can see when the sun will set in my home region. It will be at 7 p.m. or 1900 hours. You can also choose to look up in advance the date should you use this watch for activities such as mountain climbing or hunting, where you need to keep track of the sunset and sunrise timings. Then this is the recall mode that we have just went through, and also the receive. This mode will tell you when it was the last time that this watch received the atomic signal for accurate timing. And back to the home screen. So one thing I want to show you again, which I've showed you just now, is that this watch has a very nice function whereby when you hold the mode button and you will return to the home screen. The reason is because this watch has so many modes, so Casio decided to include this function as well, which is very useful, which I'll show you again. Hold the mode button and it goes back to the home screen. Okay, so this watch also comes with a light button over here at the front. This is a LED backlight, very bright. Even though it's using LED, you can still see it's very legible. Okay, so as usual, if you hold the LED button, it will be an automatic tilt engage LED light, but usually I don't do that for the sake of saving battery. Okay, so this watch is a very huge watch. Like I mentioned, it's much larger than the older Rangeman. You can see side by side, it's a very huge difference. Okay, so the dimensions of this watch would be 55 millimeters across. Very huge watch. The width is the width is 54 if I'm not wrong, and then the length is about 55, and then the height or the thickness is 18.2 millimeters. So it's a very thick watch, and I'll just show you guys how this watch looks like on my 6-inch wrist. Okay, this is how it looks like on my wrist. Okay, it's humongous, extremely large, but somehow or rather, I hope that I can still pull it off. I still wear this watch sometimes. So yeah, no doubt it's very huge. Okay, you can see even the strap, they are using the double buckle like the Rangeman. So it's a very thick strap. Okay. And one thing that I like about this watch is that it comes with a metal buckle. Okay, it's not the usual resin buckle that you have on other watches. And I also want to show you guys the case back design of this watch. Okay, it's actually a bobcat, okay, with the Rangeman wording and logo. Okay, so a bobcat with a compass on its wrist. So this video is just a very quick review of this watch and the functions. If you would like to know more in detail about its function, you may want to look up the module number 3410. Okay, this model is the GW-9400. All right. So yeah, all in all, a very nice watch. Very functional, highly functional. The only potential downside is that this watch is rather big, so it may not be very suitable for people with small wrist sizes, and also it's rather heavy as well. It's 93 grams. Okay, but other than that, I think it's very nice and very functional watch. Okay, so personally, design wise, actually I prefer the Rangeman due to the smaller size as well as the better wearability compared to the Rangeman. However, for functions wise, definitely the Rangeman will win hands down due to the addition of the compass function as well as the direct access when it comes to the ABC functions, as well as the stopwatch and also additional function of time memory. Okay, so this is pretty much about it for today's review. I hope it's comprehensive enough. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this review, and I'll see you guys again in the next video soon.